connection of mixing drugs, and then it can predict. So there's normal ventilation, there's hypoventilation. With hypoventilation, you're breathing low, so your number goes up. Somebody said something about DKA. I'm not going to go into it just because it's late. The connection of capno and DKA is bicarb. As the patient is releasing carbonate, the end-tidal CO2 will chase that. You will most often see this in new onset, unknown DKA. So with your glucometers, how high does the sugar need to be high?
I think it's like over 5.
Yep, over 500 they'll say high. So if you had somebody who's unconscious, unresponsive, and it said high, what's your treatment going to be?
Fluids. Try to dilute the sugar.
How?
By fluid resuscitation.
Yeah, fluid resuscitation. Did you give them Narcan?
No.
You could, but probably not. You going to give them D50? Hell no.
No.
But you bring them into the ER, and they do blood gases. His end-tidal CO2 is 11. His pH he's 0.09 from being brain dead. That's new onset DKA. So there's a 19-year-old. Here's a 17-year-old. End-tidal CO2 of 6. So your suspicion for your confirmed DKA is high in the BGL and a terribly low end-tidal CO2. So, Crystal, new medic, kind of lacking confidence. I said, hey, I'll listen to calls. If you go out and have a call, go on. Second day of being a medic, here's how the call comes in. For Medic 95, respond to 32-4 Summit Loop Drive, reference pulmonary embolism. Have you ever heard dispatch like that? I haven't. Medic 95 copy. I'm like, I think I'll go just to listen and see what happens. So it's a pretty nice neighborhood, $1 million homes. We pull up on scene together. The ambulance goes code 3 because she's new. I go code 1, we get there at the same time. We pull in, and in the front door, there's this guy dressed properly, and here's his suitcase. We've all run that call, right? So we walk up, and because Crystal's new and not burnt out, she's just doing it perfect. Oh, sir, my name's Crystal. What can I do for you? You need to go to the hospital. What seems to be the problem today? Having a pulmonary embolism. Oh, you short of breath? Nope. Can I check your vitals? Yep. All the vitals are normal. Now, what are the questions that she should be asking based on the patient stating he's having a PE?
Any past medical surgeries?
You passed medical surgeries? Nope.
Have you experienced any lower cramps, cramping in your legs or anything like that recently?
No, I play tennis.
Okay.
Why do you think you're having a PE?
I know I'm having a PE.
Have you had one before?
No.
Yeah.
And you asked me again why. I was up all night. Google. What else do you want to know? There's still a couple more legit things to ask.
Are you experiencing any pain?
Huh?
Are you in any pain?
No.
Any recent travel,
Why? What specifically? What kind of travel?
air or car?
Change in elevation?
Air, change in elevation, or car 4 or 5 hours, 8 hours. Nope. What else?
Was this an acute onset or gradual, I guess?
Do you have
I read about it all night long. I almost called you in the middle of the night. I had a shower, and had breakfast, and I'm ready to go to the hospital now.
was it a
History of DVTs?
Huh?
What symptoms made it approval?
I used to watch, this is really what he says. Because she asked that. I used to watch Doogie Howser.
I mean, I probably any cardiac or pulmonary history.
No, and in fact, she does go down that route. You smoke? You have asthma? Nope. Do you do any recreational drugs?
How old is she again?
It was either 48 or 52. I may be mixing two patients up.
Okay.
Young.
Well, doubt at 48, but maybe are you taking any birth control? Like that's something, right?
So especially for women, that'd be a very legit question. She didn't ask because it's a man. It's
Oh,
very
I thought you said she. Sorry.
No, it's a guy.
Sorry, my bad.
Did somebody in his family die of PE?
No. I really never heard of PE until I watched, or until I was on the computer last night. Oh my gosh, it's terrible. And so I'm like, Crystal, quit asking stupid questions, get the refusal sign. That's what I'm thinking, right? Well, sir, I don't really know what's going on. We'd be happy to take you to the hospital if you'd want to go. Just exactly what the medical director wants you to say. He's like, great, let's go. And he picks up the suitcase and walks to the rig. I'm just like, God, what a rookie move. Why is she doing this? Medic 95, in Salem Hospital, code 1 with 1. As I'm pulling into the station, and they got about a 25-minute transport. Dispatch Medic 95, upgraded to code 3. I'm like, oh God, what has she done now? She's totally, and we had just created this RSI program, so it was super controversial. So I'm like, I gotta go to the hospital. She's gonna get ripped. I gotta go watch this happen. So I go code 1, and then turn on the med radio. Hear the siren blaring in the background. Medic 95, Salem Hospital, emergency traffic. Go ahead. Hi, it's Crystal, we're code 3. Suspected pulmonary embolism. And then she gets totally stable vitals. Medic 95, what's the patient's chief complaint? Medic 95, he has no complaint. And I'm just like, fuck. We look like total tools. Medic 95, Salem Hospital. Physician on the, this is Dr. Smith or whatever. Go ahead and downgrade to non-emergency traffic. Medic 95, that's negative. We're code 3, we'll see you in 10. And I'm just like, fuck, what else could she say that could screw this up? And the doc, Medic 95, this is Dr. Welby. Why do you think he's having a PE? Medic 95, he has a good plateau with an end-tidal CO2 of 4. We're code 3. And I'm like, okay, first, why'd she even hook him up to capnography? I would never have thought of that. But 4. So now my brain, I start thinking of zebras, like, what would cause a 4? And the answer is nothing. They're all shock states, which would present shitty vitals. So I'm thinking, what am I missing? What am I missing? Someone's gonna ask me, I've gotta have a way out for her. Okay, I'll say the machine's out of service. That's what I'm gonna say. So I walk in, and I go to the bullshit side of the hospital, the right side. That's where they're gonna be. I don't see a gurney anywhere. And the doors are open in the recess room, and they are coding this guy. And I'm like, what in the hell? So they code him and code him and code him, and he stays dead. And I'm like, Crystal, when did he code? She goes, right when he moved him to the bed. I'm like, perfect. Didn't happen with us? And she's like, nope. I said, what is his entitled to? She goes, he immediately intubated, and his entitled CO2 was 2. I said, did it go away? She goes, no, it went up to 6 or 8 when they gave epi. And they've already stopped the code. They've already called this guy dead. And I'm like, what the hell? One of you were very close, by the way. So I decide I'm going to do the death notification. And I'll tell you why in just a second. So I tell the doc, hey, this family's given a lot of money to the fire department. I need to go have the conversation with the wife, who was not even home. So I go do the death notification, and of course it sucks. And I said, ma'am, could I go look at his computer? She says, sure. And there's like 20 tabs that are open for everything. And it's all the stuff that you guys said. Crystal didn't ask, and I didn't think to ask, something that one of you got close to. Who said the cramping in the lower legs? So I wouldn't even thought of that. And he has DVTs. A simple DVT in the leg got in his system, caused a massive PD. Now, is there anything that EMS could have done to change that patient's outcome? No. With my experience and all my knowledge, would I have run code 3? Probably not. But again, it was a zebra call, and she trusted it, and her care was totally appropriate. I mean, not shit we can do anything. I don't know if she started the line out. I don't think she did. But dead stayed dead. And so again, capnography is sending you a signal, telling you what to do. All of those right there, the tubes in the trachea, that first one's good, but all those others, it could be any of these things here. I've said this several times, just always work your way back. The second call Crystal ran was a code, and I was way out of position, but I decided to go. And so I get there, and it's in a house with a hospital bed. So my first thought is, why are we coding a DNR patient? And it wasn't a DNR patient, it was a hip fracture patient who was in arrest. And I get in, and Crystal's like a smaller person, and I can see her still trying to intubate. You see her arm doing this. I'm like, what are you doing? She goes, I can't get him intubated. I'm like, how many times have you tried? 4. And I'm like, you're done, let me go down there. So I go down and I'm like, I'm doing it too. What the hell? This patient is in rigor mortis, but those beds that they're getting now at home have heated water. So he felt warm and dead. We rolled him over. He's black and blue, been dead for hours. That's why we couldn't help him. But if we would have done entitle, we would have obviously gotten a 0 because he had checked out already. There's the examples of sustained low entitle. Look at what the first one is, PE. That's just what it looked like. Hypovolemia, hyperventilation. There's that cleft we talked about. This is the first generation capnography that I was telling you about that we use these at Santa Fe County. So there's the end tidal, the heart rate, the pulse ox, the heart rate, the respiratory rate, and then there's the actual waveform. This is what we used, but we couldn't prove it when we got to the hospital. So we quit using those and went to a multi-platform. I still think this is the best vent that's out there. It's been out forever. This poor bastard was the paramedic from LA County who responded to Michael Jackson's cardiac arrest. And then he's on video. He was trying to say the capnography was wrong, was low. Michael Jackson's entitled CO2 was only 16. But instead they said the cat pornography. Of all the slides that people steal, this is like the #1. This poor guy, he should get a sex change or something that nobody can recognize him anymore. Think about writing this down and wait about a month. And in a month, go to this website. It's a free website. Dr. Cotley is the chairman of anesthesia at Harvard. You will see some of my slides, and I took some of his slides up on there. What's really cool, it's designed from first responder to anesthesiologist. But what's really cool on the site, there's a place called Capnomagic. And there's all these diagnoses or disease processes. And so you can see a second trimester woman who's bleeding out, and then you touch the button and it shows her capnogram. Third trimester woman who's bleeding out, shows her capnogram. A PE that is not obstructed, here it is. An MI that turns into a STEMI. And there's like millions of choices that you can see there. So it's a cool thing to look at down the road to study. It's a good refresher. Anybody ever seen Richard Levitan? So the first time I met Richard Levitan, he's a great speaker, and he made a camera that goes on the end of an ET tube. And he wanted to make his millions, in fact that's his website, airwaycam.com. He wanted to make his millions by selling these cameras to EMS. This is way before we had video laryngoscopy. But the way that he would make his name out, and he did this, he went to the Region 3 conference in Reynosa. He's this tall, thin male, kind of talks really fast, kind of really animated. He's like, my name's Richard Levitan, we're gonna talk about capnography, we're gonna talk about intubation, and so I'm gonna use my camera, and so I'm gonna intubate myself on stage, and as I intubate myself on stage with my camera, you're gonna see the tube go down, and I'll intubate, I won't be able to talk, and you'll see it at the carina, then I'm gonna right main stem myself, and he's all hooked up to an EKG and everything. Everybody's like, what is he gonna do? So we're watching this, he goes, let me just get ready. And he takes neosynephrine and he first he takes viscous light on him, goobers himself up, takes an NPA, goobers himself up, and then he says on tape, I'm going to go ahead and snort some pharmaceutical cocaine, and he turns around and everybody's watching. It's like, what the hell? And his heart rate goes from 100 to 140. Okay, everybody ready? We're getting ready to go. Let's go. And he nasally intubates himself on stage and he's like, okay, it's real close to my belly. And then you watch this guy. He's done this like 3 times in the state of New Mexico, but he's crazy. But if you ever get to watch him, he teaches a good class, and he's highly trained in capnography. And then Baruch Krause, if you get to ever go to anything that he does, he's way down there. This evolving care, standard of care, that slide's been in there since 2000. This should be the standard, it's just that we still don't know how to teach it. So name one thing you learned out of this class today.
Oh boy.
End title's good.
Come on, you're the smartest guy in the room.
Oh, I don't know about that, sir. I learned about the like the peep in between, like peep waves in between.
The grunt breathing?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
How about you?
Just all I'm thinking about is that cat porn slide right now. I'm sorry.